if I can get you all to come on up. The weather is working for us. You can stand up. The speaker's coming up and join me, please. Anybody else who wants to. And you can sit on the exercise equipment. You can use it to exercise a little later. So I'm Rodney Ellis. I want to thank all of you all for being here today. I see we have a few others. And I noticed a couple of cyclists who are cycling fanatics. So we'll make sure we put those benches, those orange banisters there if we have to stop them a little bit. But I want to welcome everybody for being here today. And I want to thank you for being here. Today we gather not just to honor a name, but to build upon an incredible legacy. The late Rabbi Samuel Karff dedicated his life to fostering understanding, unity, and justice while faithfully serving Congregation Beth Israel, the oldest Jewish congregation in Houston. You can clap for that. It is a profound honor to dedicate this pedestrian bridge in his memory, a bridge that symbolizes the connections he tirelessly worked to build across communities, ideologies, and racial divides. Rabbi Karff's journey, marked by compassion, intellect, and unwavering commitment to social justice, brought him from the classrooms of Harvard to the beamers of some of America's most respected congregations. His eloquence and deep moral conviction led him to form an unbreakable bond with fellow faith leaders and advocates for equity. Reverend Bill Lawson and Archbishop Emeritus Joseph Fiorenza, collectively known as the Three Amigos. Their united front against inequality and injustice is a testament to their shared belief in the power of collaboration across faiths and communities. As civil rights leaders, they work together to do good, seek justice, and make the world a better place. Houston owes the Three Amigos a debt of gratitude for leading an interfaith effort to service to their faiths and shared values that changed the lives of countless Houstonians for the better. This bridge will serve as a lasting symbol of Rabbi Karff's vision, building bridges, connecting people, and advancing equity, inclusion, and fairness. It will expand equitable access to green space and trails as part of our broader commitment to equity and environmental justice. It's about working together to make Harris County and Houston a greener, healthier, and a more prosperous place for everyone to thrive. I want to thank the Harris County engineer, and their head is Milton Rahman to my left, who leads our construction and engineering projects. And thanks to all of the partners who made this possible, and folks in this community who advocated for this project to connect their communities. They have been advocating for this project for years, along with many community leaders who lent their voices to the project. We couldn't be more excited to make this project a reality for the residents of Mayaland. We look forward to returning to the ribbon cutting this fall. If the hurricane season is not as active as some of the specialists predict. If it's not the fall, it will be at the latest at the beginning of what some people in the country call winter. But as soon as the bridge can be completed, we'll come back and do a official ribbon cutting. Now I'd like to introduce, before I bring up our next speaker, I want to tell you some of the community leaders who are here. Spencer Gutierrez was walking in with me from Congresswoman Lizzie Fletcher's office. Give him a warm round of applause. I love Lizzie Fletcher. And we were trying to find a date that worked for her congressional schedule and our schedule, and it just didn't work. I think this is the third time we moved this, and I want to thank the family for being so patient. And then we were trying to change the time because the Congresswoman was trying to make this before she had to get on a flight. But she and I did chat. You tell her how many times I mentioned her name. I even said, for her, I'd let her dial in. You know, our Congress people always dialing in with that little speakerphone. I said if she wanted to, but she said no, she didn't want to disrupt it. And I mentioned to the family, this is the first step because we have another surprise that we're going to do, that we're going to announce a ribbon cutting a little later, where we were going to honor Rabbi Karff, but I thought that was going to be more of a puddle. As it turns out, it will be a pond. So we're going to come up with an appropriate name that honors him and some other folks, but we'll do that a little later. Kenzie Wall, Vice President of the East Brayswood Place Homeowners Association. Where you, Kenzie? Thank you. Thank you for being here. And Bruce Evans, representing the southern portion of Brays Wood Place neighborhood. Thank you for being here. And Stephen Panazek. Did I get close? Kenny, was I? Yeah, you were close. Stephen, thank you for being here. Dan Nagel, trail guide for Neighborhood Trails of Southwest. Dan, thank you. You saw me stopping some of those bikers. I saw one of them running through. Yeah, I know. I've done it, but don't tell them. Yes, Charles Goforth, President of the Brays Bayou Association. Charles, thank you for being here. Regina Rogers, who woke me up at 6:45 a.m., who is just such a tremendous community leader and played a key role, along with Kenny Freeman, in getting me to really get up close and personal to Rabbi Karf and the other two amigos as well. So thank you for coming in from Beaumont. I knew it was pouring down rain. With that, I want to turn it over to Liz Karf Seitz. She will speak a bit about her father's legacy. And thank you and all of the family members for what you've done and for sharing him. Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning. I'm Liz Karf Seitz, one of Sam Karf's 3 very proud daughters. My sisters, Rachel and Amy, are here today as well. My sisters and I often say that we hit the jackpot in the parent department. We truly did. We all adored our father, loved him deeply, and we miss him terribly. Dad was a scholar, preacher, pastoral counselor, gifted writer, lecturer, and humanitarian. He was humble and kind and had a very gentle and calming presence. From the moment he opened his mouth, he commanded your attention. His words were wise, thoughtful, and thought-provoking. He was a true man of faith who not only talked the talk, but walked the walk. And along with our mother, he was also a huge Astros fan. I had to throw that in there since baseball season started. He was a wonderful husband to our beloved mother and a loving and devoted father to the 3 of us. When I was thinking about speaking today in Dad's honor, I was remembering many times I heard him speak when he was being honored somewhere. And he would often say something to the effect of, "I'll forgive you for your embellishments if you'll forgive me for enjoying them." I am certain that today's honor would be no exception. Dad would be deeply moved, Commissioner Ellis, to know that you chose to honor him in this way. He always spoke very fondly of you, particularly at a time where there is so much anti-Semitism, xenophobia, racism, and so many other threats. This tremendous tribute to our beloved father is especially meaningful. This bridge will carry the name of a man who stood for and represented everything that is good in this world. Our dad taught us to respect the sacred and find what is sacred in everything and in everyone. Along with his cherished friends, Reverend Bill Lawson and the late Archbishop Joe Fiorenza, Dad acted as a champion for the underserved and underrepresented in our community. Thank you, Commissioner Ellis, and all who are responsible for making this happen. We are truly grateful.
That was so special. Thank you. I'd be remiss if I didn't go off script, tell a couple of stories. First, I should mention, I met the rabbi through Mickey Leland. And those names from that era, Livingston Cosberg, of course, Kenny Freeman, Alan Rudy, and so many others. But we worked on a lot of projects together. Now, what's interesting is that I think his health, Rem Lawson's still around, his health, he was Lawson just had to look at the metabolism. But your dad was really in great shape. And one particular meeting, Brandon, I want that book. Let me see that book. Give me that book, by the way. Regina, come on, don't be bashful. But these are the three amigos, and I want to show that. I have this book on the coffee table in my office. And Regina Rogers, thank you for putting this together. But one meeting in particular that we had was over trying to create a public defender's office here in Harris County. And it was in my Senate office a couple of times when we pushed to get it established. And then when I became a county commissioner, Brandon, I think I'm right, seems like we were in that conference room over here at El Camino, El Rio, and we were trying to figure out how to expand the office. And, you know, Archbishop drove, got lost, but he made it there eventually. He's still driving. The rabbi was in pretty good shape, and he was, when the Archbishop got there, then Rabbi Karff was kind of chewing him out a little bit. Why wouldn't you let me come pick you up? And Lawson was in his wheelchair. But your dad was just so emotional and angry at the pace in which the office was expanding so slowly. And I won't mention him, but he used a couple of words, and I said, Rabbi, you starting to sound like me. But he was quite an active guy, but just what a special human being. Next, I want to bring up Beth White from the Parks Board to talk a little bit about this project and the great things that she's doing.
Thank you, Commissioner Ellis. Well, good morning, everyone. I'm Beth White, President and CEO of the Houston Parks Board. Excuse me. We're a not-for-profit. We've been around nearly 50 years, expanding, improving, and protecting parks. And as Commissioner Ellis said, this project is so emblematic of what we're trying to achieve with Bayou Greenways, connecting communities and providing beautiful greenways, active transportation, but also places where we can celebrate our communities, celebrate our culture, and today celebrating an extraordinary leader. And I can't think of a more appropriate way but to name a bridge after the work that he did all of his life to connect all of us to one another and to what's important in our lives. We often refer to Brays Bayou Greenway as the United Nations of Greenways, connecting so many different diverse communities from the historic East End, which is primarily Latino, going through McGregor Park, coming through this area, heading out to the Asian communities. It's really an extraordinary place. And when it's all completed, we'll have 40 miles of connected greenways just along Brays alone. But I'm proud to tell you that we have over 150 miles now open to the public along Bayou Greenways, along 9 major bayous. And I want to make a particular thank you to Commissioner Ellis, not just for the work he's done to support the Bayou Greenways, build this bridge, but he was also one of the architects to figure it out and take that bold move with some other amigos to convince the city to put a $100 million bond together, and we raised the other 120 to bring this plan to life. We also want to thank the extraordinary team at Harris County, the Precinct 1 staff who do this work every day, the Harris County engineers, the Houston Parks and Recreation Department, and first and foremost, the community. The commissioner recognized the leaders who are here today. We could not do it without the community because this is your greenway. This is your neighborhood, and we're so proud of the work you do to steward this work. Park equity is one of the cornerstones of our work, along with Commissioner Ellis. We believe that everyone should have a quality park within walking distance of their home, and we work on that every day. Again, we're grateful that Precinct 1 is building this bridge, and we're proud to say that we'll be maintaining it as part of our overall Bayou Greenway system. Trent Rondo, I don't see him in the audience. There he is. A big round of applause for our Director of Conservation and Maintenance. If you have a question about any inch of those 152 miles, ask Trent. He has an encyclopedic memory of everything. And the other thing I want to brag, he celebrated his 25th year with Houston Parks Board this year. An extraordinary leader. And if our other board members or staff members could raise your hands, Lisa Kasanovich, Matt, Kira, Chanel over at the tent, please talk to these folks and let them tell you about the extraordinary work we do in partnership with Harris County and many others. And thank you so much. Thank you to the Carr family. And let's celebrate this wonderful bridge.
Thank you, Beth. I want to thank my staff as well. I saw Brandon Dudley, Peter, all of the Precinct 1 staff. Please give them a warm round of applause. They do a great job of working for you and putting up with me. Don't feel bad, Regina. I call all hours of the night and in the morning. I don't know how you text people and let it come later. So if I wake up in the middle of the night, I send a text, and sometimes just to aggravate me, they'll text back. I think maybe they got up to get water or something and want me to think they're working all night. But they really do a good job. And I was looking, look, you notice the picture of the rabbi over here, by the way. In addition, it'll have his name on it. But, you know, I like a little art. We'll tell a story as well. And we're going to upgrade this equipment out here. I was noticing. This is probably one of the better used exercise facilities. And this has been a long time. Commissioner Franco Lee put this one in. So it's probably time for a little bit of a upgrade, and they like the old school stuff, so it's going to be quite an interesting remembrance of your dad. So it'll be very special, and we'll get you involved in it. With that, I want to bring up the person who has been such a key leader throughout my life. He's my lawyer as well, my advisor, all going back to Mickey Leland. I've known him since he was a very young. I think I knew of you before I worked for the congressman. I knew of you when I was working as an intern for Bill Hobby. Kenny Freeman, a dear friend. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Commissioner. It's great to be here today. It's really fitting to be dedicating a bridge to a man who spent his life building bridges. He was the consummate bridge builder in this community for over 50 years. And his tireless efforts to build bridges of understanding, tolerance, brotherhood knew no bounds. But some of his most prominent bridge building endeavors were, you've already heard about the Three Amigos. What you don't probably know is that in conjunction with his longtime friend Regina Rogers, they reached out to Bishop Fiorenzo and Reverend Lawson to put that group together, which was a major factor in all of the controversial issues facing this community for many, many years. He was the former president of the Central Conference of American Rabbis, a group that encompassed several thousand Jewish congregations across the country. His strong, calming presence helped that institution deal with lots of different controversies that arose during his presidency. And, you know, it kind of reminds me of the old joke that anywhere there are two Jews, there'll be at least three congregations. One for each of them to attend that they don't have to see the other person, and a third one that neither would be caught dead in. And so Rabbi Karff dealt with that and all kinds of things when he was president of that great organization. And really he dealt with those issues for many years afterwards, because religious leaders all over the country reached out to him regularly for advice and guidance. He was a strong, as Commissioner Ellis said, he was a strong, effective advocate for civil rights. I mean, during those monumental days of the 60s, Rabbi Karff not only marched regularly against discrimination and prejudice, but he also spoke on occasion with Reverend King about strategy and how to be effective. He also taught for over 20 years in the Rice Department of Religious Studies, focusing on Jewish-Christian dialogues and building bridges between those communities. He also created the Health and Human Spirit program at the Texas Medical Center, continuing to build bridges between people of all kinds of backgrounds and religions, because he would address faith and spirituality across all those faiths and across all those people. And those folks were dealing with the stresses and challenges of the Texas Medical Center, and the institution that he created brought great strength and comfort to thousands of people over many years. And finally, and I know he'd want me to mention this, he was married for almost 60 years to the love of his life, the wonderful and vivacious Joan, who did her own bridge building by, among other things, creating a program styled Women on the Way Up, which was focused on underprivileged girls by creating bridges for them to culture, the arts, and careers. She personally funded and assisted several hundred young women through this program. And if I could take just a moment of personal privilege, Sam Karff was my friend for over 40 years. I was not a member of his congregation, but he always treated me with the same warmth and respect and friendship that he would give to the most prominent members of that congregation. We both shared a lot of interests in common, but one of the things we shared, you heard a little bit from Liz earlier, was a great love of baseball. And we were known on occasion to slip away without anyone's knowledge to an afternoon Astros baseball game. And finally, I want to thank you, Commissioner Ellis, for making this project come to life and for dedicating it to not only one of the great heroes of our Jewish community, but a man who became a hero to every community. I know, Commissioner, that you've also dedicated your life and career to helping others by creating bridges for them to cross to a better life. I guess it takes one bridge builder to know and want to recognize another. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Kenny. Thank you so much. Representative Ann Johnson does a great job of representing this community and all of Texas in the Texas legislature. And I must say, I want you to know how proud we all are of you. Would you please welcome Representative Ann Johnson?
Thank you. This morning I feel more connected with the Karff daughters. My name is Ann Johnson and I'm a native Houstonian, but I met Commissioner Ellis through my parents, the Honorable Jake and Honorable Carolyn Marks Johnson. And so I know what it is like to have a family member who has been part of the community, and I know what it's like to be a daughter, to have parents that would raise you to understand and appreciate the diversity of Houston. I didn't know your dad personally, but of course I knew of your dad, and I knew of the three amigos. And today I am proud to be a state representative of this area, and I think about Commissioner Ellis and the manner in which he has taken the history, the people and the communities known, and found it a way to make it part of the future. This area knows flooding, and this area knows the necessity that we need government to come together to build infrastructure. But why don't we do it in a way that honors our community and our diversity? And that's exactly what Commissioner Ellis has done. From the art projects that we see going in our community, we see the recognition of who we are as a community and what we can be and how things can be better. Now, I think about the turmoil that is happening at this moment, the divisions within community, the political divisions of people wanting to rip us apart. And I can't think of anything more important than this bridge. And I can't think of anything more important than the fact that this bridge will take families and young children from that area and have them cross over into their school. That walk, as they take that walk on this bridge and see the legacy of your dad, as they grow up, they'll remember the people that made this place great and inspire each of us to do more for more into the future. And so thank you for allowing me to be here as one of your state representatives to say thank you for the collaboration, thank you for the commitment to community, and thank you for sharing your father with us in real time and into the future. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Of course, we couldn't get this done without the engineers. And so, Dr. Rahman, I can see they're still working. I could hear him, but Dr. Milton Rahman, the head of engineering for Harris County. Dr. Rahman.
Good morning, everyone. What a great occasion to be here to recognize a community leader who has spent his entire life in connecting community and leading changes. Harris County's mission is to build transportation system that support multimodal options that are affordable, reliable, efficient, safe, and easy to use. And I want to thank Commissioner Ellis. He's our champion at the Commissioner's Court for equine transportation and championing multimodal transportation system. I also want to thank Commissioner Ellis for connecting everybody together. Houston Parks Board, our state leadership, our congressional leadership from the federal side, and more importantly, the community. I was talking to Charles earlier, and he was talking about the community has been talking about building this connectivity, this bridge, for a while. And then I was telling him somebody heard him. Commissioner Ellis and his team, Peter Key, Brandon, they're all here. They listen. And When they listen, they send those projects to us, and it is our job. Sorry. It's a little wind. To build this bridge, it is our job to build this bridge on time. And Commissioner is putting a lot of pressure on me right now, saying that we're going to open this bridge this fall. So I'm going to pass this to our folks, but let me recognize some of the engineering folks who leads this. Arwin Barden, our Senior Director for Infrastructure. Amanda Jones, our Director of Construction, is here. And the person who is going to be responsible day-to-day, Rolando, he is our construction manager on site. I want to thank all of them, our consultant, our contractors who is building this bridge. I want to thank all of them for getting this done. But I want to close out with one thing. We want to build an infrastructure system that's for everybody. You know, kids walking to school, to bikers, to our transportation system where they take the metro. And Commissioner Hill is championing a multimodal transportation system that is for all, that is equitable, and that is fair for our residents. Thank you all.
So thank you, Dr. Ahmed. We want to make sure it's done right, so we rush you, but we understand if there are supply chain issues or whether I know you'll get it done right. Look, I thank all of you all for coming. I want all of the daughters come up, and Regina, I want you to come up so we get this one last photo. Hey, staff, y'all did a great job. I had not looked at all the pictures, but it's quite breathtaking. So thank you all. Give this, all of the staff members, all the community leaders. Come on up, you community folks. I know you've been asking for this bridge for a while. I want our photo op. Come on, go forth. All y'all, come on up. We got, hey, there's plenty of room, and it hadn't rained. The rain is coming later. You got us, we'll move it down. Who else am I missing? Where are we looking? Come on, yeah, don't be bashful. You got us all? Should I move the mic down a little bit? You leave it up there, I'll start talking again. Thank you all for coming. I want to mention, hey, this bridge, it will tell the story of Rabbi Karf's life. It'll be quite an interesting place to go. You will not be able to do much more than think about what he did, his life, and his legacy when you walk, run, crawl, bike, or whatever, tricycle across that bridge. Thank you all for coming. Question. Oh, I'll do it. You can do one-on-one. All right.